Hello, I'm Elgato, and this is Seeds Sunday, the weekly series I run on my channel where I show seeds Minecraft which are particularly interesting and worth checking out in some way. And today I have a Minecraft Java Edition 1.13 or Aquatic update seed to share with you all, and it's a really interesting one because obviously a lot of people are now starting brand new worlds for the Aquatic update because the update is now feature complete. There's just a few bug fixes followed by the pre-release followed by the full release of the update. So either you're going to start a brand new world in a couple of weeks or you've started one right now or are about to, and because of that I figured if you want to experience this new update, this is going to be the best seed for that. It's a survival island seed from KCDale99, which is, you know, but first of all, survival island in the new update, kind of a nice thing, but it's a survival island surrounded by coral, which is a nice enough premise by itself. Like, if you just take this seed right now and load it in yourself, you're gonna have a good time, but let me show you some of the things that make this seed not just a pretty good seed, but an amazing seed, and one of the best that you will see in the Aquatic update, and that's what I'm gonna be showing off in today's video. Hopefully you all do enjoy. So type in this seed if you want to get it. Again, pause the video or copy paste or do whatever you need to do for this, but let's go straight into the world and let's talk about why it's such an amazing one, because being able to play Survival Island is something I feel like people will always go back to. Survival Island is a timeless classic Minecraft game mode, and being able to not only have a Survival Island, but have a Survival Island surrounded by coral, which is a new feature you can play with, as well as other types of ocean features, is a nice enough thing by itself to just make me want to play this. But then I explored it more and more, and I found really cool little permutations that made it so that, like, oh yeah, as you play more of the Survival Island, you'll have little treats in every direction. So anyway, with that said, this is the spawn. As you can see, it's an island with about, 10 separate trees on it and then a bunch of plains biome. It's pretty big for a survival island, but it means that you can really settle down, have a house here, but still be entirely isolated from the rest of the world because obviously in every single direction it is surrounded by just pure ocean. So again, in the ocean, the first thing you'll immediately spot is the fact that the ocean is filled with the coral. The coral reef is not just like a single length over there, because it seems like it's like, oh yeah, there's a coral reef, it goes all the way up to there, then it takes a right turn and keeps on going, lots of coral, right? But the truth is, there's a lot of coral because it eventually kind of coalesces over there, but then there's also a second set of coral just next to spawn as well. If you go the other direction over to here, you'll see there's an entire collection of coral there, and then basically lots and lots of coral to be found right next to spawn. If you like coral, there's no shortage of it here, and even if you're not the biggest fan of coral, there's lots of things found in the coral that you might miss first of all, because obviously the coral is found in only the warm oceans, which have a different color for the surface, which makes it harder to see through it, and because of that you might miss something as obvious and in front of you as this huge ship right here. That's right, there is a buried ship right next to spawn, like literally this close to the main island. It's dug right into the coral reef as well, which makes it really wacky because you can see how it's like covered in the stuff. And yeah, if you look inside here, you can get yourself some free access at spawn to some iron, to some gold, to some lapis, and to some emerald as well. So a single emerald, I should say. So yeah, really, really nice little find right next to the spawn. But what makes this find better is not just that it's it's a ship combined with a coral, a rare feat next to spawn, even rarer. Free stuff next to spawn is always nice. But there is a second set of free stuff found just over here because there is a desert ocean ruin. So one of these things right here found in the warm oceans only. And although there's gonna be a drown to fight off, apparently 2 drowns to fight off, you can see how there's also a chest with a buried treasure map as well as an iron axe and a bunch of other stuff in there. So you get even more free stuff right next to spawn, as well as a really interesting collection of like, oh yeah, so it's a coral combined with a warm ocean combined, a monument combined with one of these things. Pretty nice by itself, but that's just while we're talking about 50 blocks away from spawn, because let's assume you get your world going. Again, you can really make a nice house here, you can set stuff up, you can be the master of your stuff, and then you can start going a little further afield than 50 blocks away. And if you decide to do that, first of all, let's grab ourselves a potion, because, maybe you'll be at that stage too. Then one of the things you might want to do is head to the south of the island instead. So if you head in this direction from the island, where you can see there's a second island fairly close nearby, maybe you want to destroy it, maybe you want to combine the 2 islands. I'm not sure how you live your survival island fantasy, but if you do head to the south, you'll find not only this access to, obviously as you can see, there is the coral reef I mentioned earlier, but also the further south you head, the wackier things get. So first of all, one of the things that you just have to do as you come past here, like it's mandatory and everyone loves it. If you say you don't love it, I don't believe you, but there is some sand overlooking this little ravine right here, which means if you break any one block of the sand, you'll start a little bit of a chain reaction. So given that everyone loves these and they love the frame rate drops that come with them, here is one of my favorite things that just look at that. Tell me you don't immediately fall in love with exactly how that works. It's impossible not to. And yeah, it leaves behind it this one really weird like physics effect, but 2, as you can see right here, this is a weird unusual thing you won't normally find in Minecraft. So again, take advantage of it or leave it there or just do whatever you want, but it's a nice thing that you can do on the way to the other things I'm going to be recommending, because there is more coral reef found here, which again, always great because the coral reef is huge. Look at the area this thing covers, and also includes a few ships and a few other notable things. So first of all, let's talk about the ship which is found found at the very, very far, deepest end over here. Because as you can see, it's a ship which is entirely upside down in the water. I feel like these ones are especially interesting to see because, like, oh, it's somehow flipped upside down. But there is obviously, again, same access to treasure maps, same access to iron and other stuff like that. So if you want to, come through here, you can get yourself, and then some unbreaking boots, because I know we love those. And that's a thing you can do there. Those cursor binding boots were terrible. But then also, you'll see how there's a ravine going through the center of this, coral island, which means that you actually end up with the weird and not too common situation of floating coral. That's right, floating coral. There's also, like, floating-ish sea pickles, because they're on these little blocks here. It's kind of an interesting thing. Again, not always seen, always going to be slightly different, and always wild when you just see coral floating over the abyss. And yeah, again, maybe you like that, maybe you don't, but either way, it's a thing you have access to. And then if we head a little bit to the right of this boat over here, you see how there's some weird terrain generation, because at least not that I've personally seen too much of, because you can see how there's some more floating coral here, or at least it seems floating. It's connected by, I think, like 2 blocks, as you can see, literally 2 blocks, but it means you have this weird little bit of like floating sand, and on that floating sand is found this coral reef, which has a nice family of tropical fish next to it. So yeah, really, really wonderful thing right here. There's also, if we head a little bit further, another ship, but there's a lot of those going on today. Let's just keep that in mind, because there's one over there as well. Basically, if you go into these coral reefs, you're going to find lots of ships around the outsides usually, but then also if we head to the west, so the left side of the ship, we're going to use that as our marking point today. You'll also find this island, which is entirely submerged 2 blocks below the water. So again, it's either a possibility for something new, or it's just a cool thing you can pass by and say, well, that's odd, but it is an island which again exists entirely 2 blocks below the water. So yeah, again, maybe if the ocean level goes down a little bit, then that island would come back to life. Kind of like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker style. But yeah, let's head to the north of this and see what's going on all the way up there, because one of my favorite things about this seed is not just the fact that it has a bunch of coral next to Survival Island, it's the fact that there is these kind of far-reaching challenges almost to go for, because if we head the entire opposite direction, so again, this is our spawn island, which again, you can see there's another shipwreck. There's a lot of those near the coral reefs, again, usually on the outside. This one is also going to give you the free access to stuff that I know you crave, but if we head to the north of the island instead, so into the coral reef, into the kind of like corner bit we have here, and past that island here. So again, this is what I'd recommend as a start. If you're willing to travel a bit before you start your world, which I would recommend, one of the best options for a survival island, in my opinion, is to start with this island all the way over here, the opposite direction where we were before, because as you can see, it's a survival island with less trees. There's 3 trees. They're all the same type, so on the one hand, less variety, but on the other hand, more survival islandy. But then also, this island is very weirdly shaped. You have to be the master of this terrain. Like, if you want to make anything here, you have to shape the terrain, so it's more of a challenge. And then also, there's a sideways ship floating in the water, which you could turn into part of your house, or you could rehabilitate the ship. You can do something with the ship to get it back to life, and I think that's a crazy cool challenge. Like, seriously, it's a sideways ship that is floating at the surface of the water. This is not something you see every day, and the fact that it's a survival island with a floating ship next to it, literally, like you can jump the gap almost. It's 8 blocks, but you can almost jump the gap. The fact that it's that close together is crazy wild, and just to me, it's like a beautiful, sight to have, and also potential for an amazing challenge. So yeah, survival island on a shipwreck that's sideways. That's an idea you might want to take advantage of. Also, you get these little, I think they're ponies right here. Is that the name? Yeah, lilacs, sorry. You get the little lilacs just found over here. Kind of an interesting thing, to say the least. Especially this one right here. But yeah, basically lots of things found around the world. Lots and lots of ships. Lots and lots of coral. There's even some coral next to this one. It's the tiniest amount of coral, so probably not the biggest constellation, but the fact that it is here. And this island also, to give you one last sell in case you're kind of not convinced yet, here is the mega ravine which goes into it. Look at the size of this ravine. This is a chunky, big old ravine right here, and because of the way that it generates, you get some weird stuff like this air bubble right here, and some caves that come off it, including gold, including iron, and it's a fun opportunity. I would totally recommend you take advantage of this if you intend to play the Aquatic update in Minecraft 1.13 on the Java version. This is the only seed I can recommend right now, because if it's the Aquatic update, you can play a land-based seed, and that's fine, and you will get access to the new features. But if you want to play around exclusively or mostly of the new features, this seed just has access to so much of that, because it's small islands which are far enough apart to be distinct islands, but are close enough together that you can go island hopping if you want to, and that you can, you know, have one of the best survival experiences you'll have in some time. So let me know if you are excited for the Aquatic update. Let me know if all of this stuff gets you excited in the comments down below, and if you ever decide to do anything with this seed. As always, I like seeing like images, so tweet me a picture of how you do with your survival land house, because I see this land right here, and I see it just being a perfect place for like a survival mansion. But yeah, leave a comment down below if you do any of those things, or preferably tweet me, because again, comments are hard to check, and you know how YouTube comments are. Either way though, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like it if you did like it, because it helps out the channel. Let us know you do like Seed Sunday, and maybe want to see some more Minecraft Java Edition seeds. Share if you really liked it, subscribe if you're around here, and hit the bell, because, you know, YouTubers have to say that so that you do it, and that maybe you see more of my videos daily on your homepage. Thank you very much for watching, and I guess I'll see you all in the next video. Have a nice day. Goodbye.